You know what's crazy? I saw this clip, Steven Spielberg, one of the most powerful filmmakers in history, sitting there talking about Islam's future. And I sat there like, wait, hold on. Spielberg, the Hollywood legend, the man who literally shaped the minds of generations with his films. When that guy talks about Islam, you listen, because he's not some random internet moron spitting half-truths on Twitter. This is a man who understands human behavior. His entire life has been about studying emotion, faith, struggle, the things that make people move. And here he is saying Islam is going to play a massive role in shaping the global future. And I'm sitting there thinking, finally someone from the so-called elite world admits what I've been saying all along. The West is lost, and Islam has something the West doesn't. People don't understand this. They think Islam is just a religion. 5 prayers, no pork, fasting, rules. But it's not. It's a system. It's a way of life. It's the blueprint for discipline, unity, and purpose. And that's what's missing from the West right now. You go to London, New York, Louisiana, everyone's depressed, everyone's lost, nobody believes in anything. Men don't know what being a man means anymore. Women are chasing nonsense. Families are collapsing. No loyalty, no brotherhood, no code. But in the Muslim world, you find structure, you find respect, you find discipline. A Muslim man wakes up before dawn. He prays, he fasts, he takes care of his family, he gives to charity, he lives with honor. That's not oppression, that's order. And Spielberg, of all people, noticed it. He said it like a man who's been quietly observing humanity for decades, because that's what storytellers do. They don't just make movies, they study patterns, they see what drives people. He looked at Islam and realized this isn't going anywhere, it's not fading away like the other ideologies. It's growing, it's thriving, it's winning. Now think about this. The West keeps painting Islam like it's some backward thing. But look around. What's the West offering? Empty dopamine, screens, distractions, chaos. They tell you freedom means doing whatever you want, but it's a trap. Because without discipline, freedom becomes slavery. Slavery to lust, to greed, to addiction, to your phone, to your ego. Meanwhile, Islam says, control yourself, be patient, be loyal, be responsible. Tell me which system sounds more like truth. And this is where Spielberg's statement gets deep. He's not Muslim, he doesn't come from that world, but he's intelligent enough to see what's happening, that Islam is growing not just in numbers but in influence. Because you can't stop something that gives people meaning. You can't fight something that gives men a reason to wake up and women a reason to raise strong families when society collapses. And it won't be the TikTok dancers or the Silicon Valley billionaires holding civilization together. It'll be the men who still pray, who still fast, who still believe in something greater than themselves. And here's what people don't get. This isn't about race, this isn't about politics, it's about truth. You see, when Spielberg points to Islam's endurance, he's admitting something that terrifies the Western elite, that faith, structure, and discipline outlast decadence. Always. Look at history. Rome collapsed when the people got soft. Greece fell when men stopped defending virtue. Every empire dies when its citizens forget what duty means. And that's exactly what's happening right now in the West. But in Islam, duty is sacred. Discipline is divine. Obedience to truth is not weakness. It's strength. That's why Islam is the future. You know what amazes me? The arrogance of the modern West. They genuinely believe they've figured out life. They think their money, their science, their freedom, whatever that even means anymore, somehow puts them above the ancient systems of faith that built civilizations. But here's the truth, and Spielberg, to his credit, saw it. The West has no foundation left. They've ripped out the roots, and now they're shocked that the tree is dying. Look around, what does the average Western kid believe in? Nothing. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in family. He doesn't believe in duty, loyalty, sacrifice. He believes in following his feelings. His feelings, as if that's going to save him when life punches him in the face. That's why so many young men are broken. They're chasing pleasure, not purpose. But in Islam, pleasure comes after purpose. In Islam, the man is built first through hardship, discipline, and submission to truth, and then he earns peace. That's what Spielberg recognized. He's a storyteller. He knows that every civilization needs a narrative, a meaning behind the struggle. And Islam gives that meaning. That's why it's spreading faster than any ideology in the world, not just through birth rates, but through conviction. Because once you see the emptiness of the West, the mental illness, the broken homes, the loneliness, the chaos. You start craving order. You start craving something real. And Islam says, here it is. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Islam is the last system on earth that still produces strong people because it demands strength. It doesn't tell you, do whatever you feel. It tells you, do what's right, even when it's hard. That's what men are starving for. A mission, a structure, a brotherhood. And you can see it everywhere. Go to the mosque, you'll find men who actually know what brotherhood feels like. You'll see them shoulder to shoulder, rich and poor, CEO and laborer, all standing in one line before God. No ego, no status, no nonsense, just unity. And Spielberg, who spent his whole life watching humanity through the lens of art, sees that and goes, wait, that's the future. He's not saying Islam is perfect. He's saying it works. It creates strength. It creates meaning. It creates resilience. While the West is busy glorifying weakness, confusion, and endless distraction. And that's why it terrifies them. Because deep down they know when hard times come, it's not the soft, confused masses who survive. It's the ones with discipline, the ones with belief, the ones who can kneel to something greater than themselves. And that's Islam. I respect Spielberg for that because it takes guts as a Hollywood legend, as someone from a Jewish background, to stand up and say, look, Islam's going to shape the future. That's not a light statement. That's someone reading the truth written across the world map from Africa to Asia to Europe. He's seen what most politicians refuse to see. While the West argues about pronouns and Instagram filters, Muslim families are growing, Muslim nations are rising, Muslim kids are disciplined, proud and unashamed of their faith. That's the future Spielberg's talking about, and it's already here. You know what's wild? The more I look around, the more I realize the West is Rome 2.0, soft men, wealthy, lazy, self-indulgent, and completely detached from reality. They think their comfort will last forever. It won't, because comfort destroys empires faster than war ever did. And that's exactly what Spielberg was alluding to when he spoke about Islam. He wasn't just admiring the religion, he was warning people. He's seen what happens when a society loses its backbone, when it worships luxury and forgets discipline. And he's looking at the Muslim world and going, wait a second, these people still have discipline, they still have purpose, they still have something that binds them together. Go to Dubai, go to Istanbul, go to Jakarta, you'll see skyscrapers, iPhones, technology, but you'll also hear the adhan echo through the city 5 times a day. That's the difference. The West traded faith for entertainment. The Muslim world embraced modernity without abandoning the sacred. That's balance. That's power. Because when you have belief, technology becomes your servant. When you don't, it becomes your master. And that's what's happened to the West. They've become slaves to their own inventions, scrolling all day, depressed, anxious, medicated, disconnected, living inside a screen. No family, no legacy, no guidance. Meanwhile, Muslims, whether rich or poor, are grounded in routine, in discipline, in prayer, in purpose. And you know what's really crazy? Even the smartest atheists admit it. Humans need structure. They need rules. They need something to believe in. Because freedom without direction is chaos. Islam gives direction. It says pray, give charity, fast, control your desires, be just, be humble, simple rules, but world-changing results. That's why you see Muslim families sticking together while Western families disintegrate. That's why you see Muslim men walking with confidence while Western men can't even look you in the eye. And Spielberg, he's no fool. He's studied human nature his entire career. He made movies about war, oppression, survival. He understands what keeps civilizations alive. And he sees that Islam still has it, that spark, that fire of conviction that the West lost a long time ago. When he predicts Islam's future influence, he's basically saying the world's going to return to structure. The world's going to return to faith. The world's going to return to discipline. And Islam embodies all three. The irony is, the same people who laugh at Muslims for being too strict are the ones crying about depression, identity crisis, and loneliness. They mock boundaries and then cry when life has no boundaries. They reject faith and then wonder why they feel empty. Islam doesn't have that problem because it's not chasing happiness. It's built on peace. Peace through surrender. Peace through discipline. Peace through meaning. That's what Spielberg saw. Not a religion as a Western category, but a system of life that actually works. And when things fall apart, and they will, that system will stand while everything else crumbles. You see, the West doesn't understand what's coming. They think Islam's rise is about numbers, population, birth rate, conversions. No, it's about principles. It's about men and women who still believe in honor, in family, in duty, while the rest of the world drowns in confusion. You can't compete with that, because when you strip a man of purpose, you make him weak. When you strip a society of truth, you make it insane. And Islam, whether you agree with it or not, gives people truth. It gives them rules. It gives them a map. That's why you see these young guys converting. They've tried everything, the parties, the money, the nonsense. And then they find peace in something ancient, something consistent, something that doesn't bend every time a new trend comes out. They find Islam. And that's what Spielberg was trying to say. Whether he meant to or not, he's saying the future belongs to those who believe in something, not to the nihilists, not to the consumers, not to the spiritually bankrupt. Because when you have faith, real faith, the kind that makes you get up at dawn to pray, the kind that makes you sacrifice your comfort for discipline, you become unstoppable. And that's why I keep saying Islam works. It works because it's not designed to make you feel good. It's designed to make you strong. Strength comes before happiness, discipline before desire, purpose before pleasure. And that's what's missing in the modern world. People think Islam is just prayer or fasting. No, it's a complete blueprint for life. It tells you how to eat, how to sleep, how to lead, how to love, how to raise your kids, how to die with honor. It's the one system that still produces men, real men who stand by their word, protect their families, and live by a code. That's what's terrifying to the modern world, because you can't control a man who has faith. You can't buy him. You can't shame him. You can't manipulate him. He kneels only to God. And that's why Islam is growing, not because of propaganda, not because of pressure, but because truth is magnetic. People can feel it. Even Spielberg can see it. So when he says Islam is the future, he's not predicting something strange. He's just admitting reality. When the world collapses under its own lies, Islam will still be standing. When morality fades, Islam will still be guiding. When men forget who they are, Islam will still be reminding. That's the future he's talking about. And I agree, because the truth doesn't need permission to win. It just needs time. And Islam has time on its side.